So, I want to offer at least 5 questions for 5 different situations that you may find yourself in. Hopefully this will help you think about your faith, but also realize really how weak the standing is of those who would object to the faith. And the first question is, why are you so intolerant? That's what I would ask a skeptic. Why are you so intolerant? Now, that seems a little bold, but let me unpack that for a minute, because one of the primary problems we have today is a misunderstanding of what tolerance means. Tolerance is a buzzword, right? We hear it all the time. We all have to be tolerant of one another's beliefs. You can't tell anybody their belief is wrong, that kind of thing. But tolerance doesn't quite work that way, does it? I have a friend, his name's Greg Kokel, and he was addressing a group of college students in a classroom once. And he tells a story that he begins writing a statement on the board. He actually writes 2 different things. The first piece he writes is, all views have equal merit, and none should be considered better than another. Now that's straight 21st century Western tolerism, right? All views have equal merit, and none should be considered better than the other. And he writes a second statement. Jesus is the Messiah, and Judaism is wrong for rejecting that. Now, when the college students read the first statement, they all agreed. They said that was wonderful. But when he wrote the second statement, they objected vehemently. A few hands shot up. He said, first of all, how many of you people agree with this first statement here, right? Everybody did. Second statement, how many of you agree with this second statement? Not many. One lady stood up and said, that's so disrespectful. How could you like it if someone were to say you were wrong? And Mr. Kokel said, well, in fact, it happens to me all the time. People tell me I'm wrong a lot. Matter of fact, it's happening right now with you. But why should it be a bother? Why should it bother you that someone thinks you're wrong? She says, it's intolerant. The second statement isn't intolerant. But the second statement, her objection violates the first statement that she agreed with. Remember, the first statement was, all views have equal merit. This is my view, that the Jews were wrong for rejecting their Messiah. You see the problem. You can't hold to the first one and reject the second one, because the second one is a view, and if you reject that, then all views aren't equal. You're telling us that there's at least one wrong. This is the problem with intolerance today. It's what we call self-refuting. It turns on itself. A self-refuting statement, you may be familiar with this. This is like saying, I cannot speak more than 3 words in English. Okay, what's wrong with that? Yeah, it's more than 3 words in English. Or, military intelligence. No, that's something different. Self-refuting statements happen quite a bit. And you'll hear these over and over, like, you can only trust science. How many of you have heard that statement? You can only trust science. Or science is the only thing that will give you the truth. Well, okay, but that statement there, that's not science. Should I trust it? Is that not true? You see the problems that happen with these self-refuting statements. Really what happens when we talk about tolerance, tolerance only means those things that they like. See, tolerance in the traditional sense is something that you disagree with but allow, right? You ever buy a pair of shoes that are too tight and you're walking and maybe your spouse says, are you going to be okay in those shoes? And you say, well, they bother me a little bit, but I'll tolerate them, okay? I don't like them, but I allow it. This is what tolerance means. The relativist claim is all forms of expression are healthy. The claims of relativism, however, deny the basic premise. Relativism holds that there is no inherent good or bad, right or wrong, ollie oxen free, really. No one can live this way in real life, if you think about it. Relativists contradict themselves even in the way they rear their own children. I mean, think about it. Do they set down rules for their kids? Do they tell them to be good? Do relativists tell their children that they should be tolerant of all views? See, there's a problem even in that. If you're telling you should be tolerant of all views, you're telling your children a law to live by. And if you're intolerant of all views, you're telling them that they're wrong. They worry about negative judgments affecting their children's development. So there is a right and wrong. Any statement that tells a person what they should or shouldn't do is by definition a prescriptive statement. It's a prescription for behavior, and just like a prescription for medicine, it's what you should take whether or not it tastes good. The statement is given with the belief that by behaving a certain way, it will be better for those involved. To believe that morality is not similarly universal means that the same prescriptions will not work in different cultures or different contexts. But if we are to stop being so judgmental, because such actions are bad for people, then the relativist has to underscore the fact that they believe there is a right and wrong for people to act. So, this is the problem. I mean, imagine a parent who is a true relativist, who never corrects their children at all. I mean, would you want that child living in your neighborhood? Oh my goodness. Matter of fact, it might be criminal negligence, wouldn't it? But some of you seem to have those children living in your neighborhood, but I digress. Our society naturally recognizes the moral boundaries are essential in raising quality human beings, and to remove them is actually harmful, not beneficial. So, if you disagree with something, you're not taking a neutral position. Therefore, when somebody says that we should be more tolerant, you can easily ask the question, why are you so intolerant about my views? And if they can't answer that question, or that might actually lead to further conversation, but it is a good way to let them think about their claims of tolerance, their claims of equal play, to show that they actually are denying what they're trying to affirm.